The Joint Research Station Meridian 6 drifted in quiet orbit over an unnamed blue dwarf star, its hull shimmering with reflected radiation from the star's unstable surface. Commander Elias Thorne had spent 6 months pretending the station was bigger than it really was, largely because he spent those 6 months avoiding one specific person. Captain Lyren Vashar, Velkari tactical specialist, flawlessly disciplined, 6 centimeters taller than Elias, with long silver-white hair braided in bands of metallic fiber and elongated ears that tracked motion with unsettling precision. To everyone else, she was an exemplary officer. To Elias, she was a problem, not because she was dangerous, though everyone knew she could break a reinforced door hinge with a twist of her wrist, not because she outranked half the station, not because she radiated that quiet, alien stillness Velkari were infamous for, but because every time she walked into a room, he became aware of her with the same certainty the station became aware of a hull breach. Instantly, involuntarily, and with a level of focus that had no place in a professional environment. So he avoided her. He took alternate corridors, rescheduled meetings, sat on the opposite end of the briefing hall. Never ever let himself be the last one in a room with her. It didn't work. Velkari's senses were too sharp. Their ears didn't just track sound, they tracked intention. Every micro-hesitation, every shift in weight, every change of direction. And Lyren Vashar was one of the best tactical readers in her faction, which meant she knew. Tonight, on the silent night cycle, Elias hid in the observation deck, the only place where the station's lights dimmed enough to simulate privacy. The star below pulsed in slow, violent waves. He welcomed the distraction. The doors opened behind him. He didn't hear her footsteps. Velkari didn't make any. But the air changed, pressure shifting just enough to tell him someone had entered. His pulse spiked. Commander Thorne. Her voice was low, crisp, accented, Velkari standard shaped around human diction. Elias turned slowly, data pad still in hand. She stood framed by the doorway like a figure carved out of cold light. Her long ears angled forward, focused, intent. That was never a good sign. "We need to talk," she said. Elias straightened, instinctively professional. "Captain Vashar, it's late. Can this wait until—" "No." She stepped inside. The door slid shut behind her with a finality that made Elias' stomach twist. "I have allowed this pattern for 6 months," she continued. "I have respected your distance. I have given you every opportunity to address it on your own terms. You have not. Therefore, I am asking directly." Her eyes, Velkari silver, reflective like polished metal, held him in place. "What have I done," she asked, "to make you avoid me?" Elias felt his throat tighten. He set down the data pad very carefully. "You haven't done anything." Her ears shifted, not anger, not offense, hurt. "Then why," she said softly, "do you track my presence like a threat and arrange your schedule around my absence?" "Captain Lyren," she corrected. "If you insist on avoiding me professionally, then at least answer me honestly, human to Velkari." Elias exhaled through his teeth. He knew this moment would come. He had tried to delay it, bury it, outrun it down the station's narrow hallways. But once a Velkari decided to confront something, escape was impossible. "You want honesty?" Well, he said yes. "Fine," he rubbed his forehead. "Being around you is difficult." Lyren blinked once. "Difficult how?" Elias swallowed. "Difficult in the sense that I'm aware of your location every second we're in the same room. Difficult because I notice details I shouldn't. Your posture when you're analyzing a briefing, your ear movements, the way your voice changes when you're irritated. Difficult because—" He hesitated, but there was no going back. "Because I find you distracting in ways that interfere with my job. And I didn't know whether Velkari would consider that disrespectful or inappropriate. So I chose distance." Silence. Her ears froze in a position he'd never seen, sharp forward focus mixed with something startlingly vulnerable. "You avoided me," she said slowly, "because you were attracted to me." "Yes, and you believed this was inappropriate." "Yes, and therefore you gave me the impression you disliked me intensely." "I didn't realize it looked like that," he admitted. She stepped closer, too close. Elias' pulse kicked hard. "Commander Thorne," she said quietly, "for 5 months I attempted to initiate rapport. I adjusted schedules, requested your tactical input when unnecessary, approached you during meal cycles. All attempts were ignored." Elias' heart stopped. "You were trying." "Yes," a faint exhale. "Velkari courtship customs are direct. When interested, we approach. When reciprocated, we proceed. When rejected, we withdraw." She looked at him with piercing clarity. "You avoided me so consistently. she said, that I assumed your rejection was absolute. Elias dragged a hand down his face. This is an incredible miscommunication. Agreed. Another step, only a meter separated them now. So, she continued, now that the cause of your avoidance is known, what do you intend to do? Elias forced himself to breathe. I don't know, but I don't want to avoid you anymore. Lyren's ears shifted, a soft forward sweep, the Valkyrie equivalent of approval. Good, she said, then with unsettling calm, because tomorrow we are being reassigned to a joint tactical response team. You and I will be working in close proximity for the next 3 months. Avoidance is no longer an option. Elias stared at her. Of course. Of course that's how the universe would repay him for trying to stay professional. The next morning began earlier than Elias preferred, and significantly earlier than his nerves could appreciate. Meridian 6's tactical briefing chamber hummed with low conversation as personnel filtered in, preparing for the new joint response rotation. Valkyrie officers stood with their usual composure, silent, statuesque, impossible to read unless you knew how to interpret micro-movements of their ears. Elias did know, unfortunately. He entered the room, datapad in hand, posture perfectly neutral, attempting to project the calm authority expected of a human commander. And then he saw her. Captain Lyren Veshar stood at the central console, reviewing orbital hazard maps with 3 Valkyrie sub-officers. Her hair was pulled into a high combat braid, silver catching in the overhead panels like reflected starlight. Her ears shifted precisely as she listened to her team, analytical, engaged, sharply focused. She didn't look at him. Not at first. Valkyrie never moved without intention. But a moment later her ears angled toward the entrance, registering his presence before her eyes followed. When she finally glanced up, her expression remained as calm as a frozen lake. But the subtle forward curve of her ears, approval, recognition, a quiet, soft good you came that only someone trained in Valkyrie observation would catch. Elias pretended he didn't know what it meant. Commander Thorne, she said, voice even, take your position, we are beginning shortly. Professional, completely professional, which somehow made it more unnerving. He crossed the room and took the seat beside her, something he had studiously avoided for half a year. The proximity was immediate, warm, distracting. He tried to focus on the rotating hologram of a damaged research satellite projected above the table. Lyren didn't look at him, but she spoke quietly enough that only he would hear. You arrived on time, she said. That is the standard expectation for officers, Elias replied. Her ear flicked, a Valkyrie half-laugh. I was not referring to punctuality. He inhaled sharply. Captain. Later, she interrupted. We will address personal matters later. For now, mission parameters. Relief, disappointment. Both hit him at once. The briefing began. A malfunctioning Valkyrie atmospheric probe had drifted into a volatile gas belt near the star. The probe contained classified scanning algorithms. Retrieval was mandatory before hostile factions intercepted the data. Human Fleet Command wanted a human lead for negotiation contingencies. Valkyrie Command wanted a Valkyrie tactical specialist for navigation through the gas storms. So they paired them. Of course they did. Elias listened carefully, grounding himself in the tactical patterns. He performed best when managing complexity, systems, threats, decision trees. This was familiar ground. Clean, predictable, not at all like interpersonal emotional chaos. We will depart at 1400, Lyren announced. Team assignments have been transmitted. Commander Thorne, meet me in Hangar C after equipment inspection. He nodded, understood. Briefing ended, officers dispersed. Lyren remained still. When the room finally emptied, she turned to him. Walk with me. Not a request. A directive softened by something he couldn't name. He followed her into the corridor. Meridian 6's lights brightened during day cycle, giving the metallic floors a sterile shine. Footsteps echoed softly his because Valkyrie feet barely produced sound. They walked in silence for several seconds before she spoke. You maintained eye contact during the entire briefing, she said. That's normal. For you, she asked, one brow raising. Because for the last 6 months, you have consistently selected seating arrangements that positioned you furthest from my direct line of sight. He exhaled, annoyed at how easily she dismantled whatever composure he tried to present. I told you, I'm not avoiding you anymore. Good, her ears angled forward, the Valkyrie signal for sincerity registered. But you appear unsettled. He stopped walking. Unsettled is an understatement. Lyren faced him fully. She was close, too close, and the star-white lighting outlined every detail of her alien features. The sharp cheek structure, the faint luminescent patterns along her temples, the fluid intelligence in her eyes. "Elias," she said quietly, using his name without rank. "Yesterday you gave honesty. Today I expect stability." He swallowed. "I can be stable. I am aware of your competence," she replied. "But competence does not preclude distraction." Her gaze narrowed slightly. "You are attempting to suppress your reactions. Valkyrie senses make suppression unnecessary. I can detect the tension in your posture and the shift in your breathing patterns." "That's not comforting." "It is not intended to be comforting," she said. "It is intended to be factual. You are unsettled. I want to understand why." He rubbed his neck. "Because this is the first time I've been near you without trying to escape. My mind is still adjusting." A subtle movement, a small, rare shift in her ears, surprise mixed with faint amusement. "I see," she said. "Then your adjustment period will need to proceed quickly." He blinked. "Why?" "Because," she said, stepping even closer, so close he could feel the soft warmth of her breath. "The mission parameters require us to operate in confined environments. Cockpit proximity, shared tactical interfaces, continuous two-person navigation." His pulse jumped. She noticed. Of course she noticed. "You are capable," she continued, "but your current physiological response suggests your concentration may be compromised." "I can handle it," he said quickly. "I do not doubt your ability, I doubt your comfort." There was no judgment in her voice, only observation, purely Valkyrie, precise, direct, disarming. He drew a long breath. "I'm working on it." "Good." She stepped back just enough to release the pressure. "Because despite yesterday's confession, our roles remain unchanged. You are human liaison commander. I am Valkyrie tactical captain. We must function seamlessly." He nodded. "Elias," she added, "I do not intend to make your adjustment easier by pretending nothing has changed. Something has changed, but we decide how to integrate it." "And how do you want to integrate it?" he asked before he could stop himself. Lyren studied him with unnerving calm. "For now," she said, "we establish new parameters, no avoidance, no evasive behavior, direct communication when discomfort arises." "That seems reasonable. It is Valkyrie standard practice." She began walking again. He followed. When they reached the junction toward the hangar, she stopped. "One more matter," she said, "a practical one." "Go on." "When we are in the star belt, the cockpit will be unstable. Sudden lateral forces may occur. Humans are prone to bracing by reaching for the nearest anchor point. Right end." She looked directly into his eyes, utterly composed. "If your nearest anchor point happens to be me," she said, "inform me beforehand. Unexpected contact in hazardous conditions risks misinterpretation." Elias opened his mouth, closed it, then opened it again. That was extremely specific. "It is an anticipated..." The hangar of Meridian 6 vibrated with low engine hum as Elias approached the compact Valkyrie scout craft they'd been assigned. The vessel, sleek, narrow, almost blade-like, glowed with faint traces of bioluminescent circuitry. Valkyrie engineering rarely used straight lines, everything curved, layered, alive. Lyren stood beneath the open cockpit, checking magnetic couplings. She wore her tactical harness, graphene black with thin silver conduits that pulsed softly with her biometrics. Her long ears angled toward the engine as if listening to it breathe. She didn't turn when Elias approached. She didn't have to. "Your footsteps are heavier today," she observed. "That's called wearing full EVA boots." "Even so," she said, finally glancing at him, "you appear tense." "Mission nerves," Elias replied. "Unlikely." Her ears shifted in diagnostic pattern. "Your tension rises specifically when within 2 meters of me." He closed his eyes briefly. "Can we not start with that?" "We must," she said calmly, "if you intend to maintain situational awareness." She climbed into the cockpit with graceful, almost predatory ease. Elias followed, significantly less graceful, trying not to focus on the narrowness of the cabin or the faint warmth radiating from her seat. "Cockpit proximity," she'd said. She wasn't exaggerating. The Valkyrie craft was built for 2 operators, but only just. Their shoulder plates barely cleared each other, their knees almost brushed, and the curved canopy closed inward like they were sitting inside a glass spine. Lyren initiated the launch cycle. Valkyrie glyphs scrolled across the hollow screen in loops of fluid characters. "Synchronize interface," she said. Elias placed his palm on the co-pilot console. The craft hummed as it registered his neural frequency, human patterns clashing awkwardly with the smooth rhythm of Velcuri tech. Lyren glanced at him. Your neural signature is irregular. That's called stress. I know the definition of stress, she replied. I am observing the cause. He gave her a flat look. Mission, focus on the mission. Very well, she turned back to the controls, launching. The scout craft detached from the hangar with a metallic sigh. The star belt ahead shimmered like liquid fire, swirling storms of ionized gas illuminated by the unstable dwarf star. Turbulence probability at 63%, she said. Prepare for lateral force shifts. Elias gripped the stabilizer rails. I've flown through worse. That statistic is doubtful. He shot her a sideways glare. Her ears twitched Velcuri humor. The first wave of turbulence struck without warning. The craft lurched violently. Elias tensed, muscles reacting faster than thought. Lyren remained perfectly still, adjusting the thrusters with microscopic finger movements, her entire body absorbing the motion like engineered steel. A second jolt hit harder. Elias' hand shot outward on instinct, but stopped centimeters from her arm as he remembered her warning. Lyren did not look away from the controls, but her ears shifted forward. Good, she said. You are demonstrating restraint. That was not restraint, Elias muttered. That was panic redirected into shame. Functionally similar. He didn't respond. She didn't laugh, but the subtle pulse at the corners of her eyes suggested she found that amusing. As they penetrated deeper into the gas belt, visibility dropped to a storm of luminous particles. Velcuri scanners compensated, projecting a translucent map of safe channels. Lyren traced one path with deliberate precision. Probe signature detected, distance 12,000 meters. Got it, Elias said. I'll manage external comms, you take the microvectoring. For a moment, they worked in total synchronicity, her hands adjusting the craft's thrusters, his reading out wavefront data, the two of them functioning as a single tactical unit. It was disturbingly seamless, too seamless. Lyren noticed it too. Our coordination efficiency is high, she remarked. Unexpected given your admitted discomfort. I focus better under pressure, Elias said. This may explain your performance in leadership simulations, she replied. However, a sudden alarm blared. Elias stiffened. What was that? Lyren's ears snapped into sharp alert posture. Another vessel approaching fast. He narrowed the holofeed. A foreign ship silhouette cut through the gas clouds, angular, predatory, running without identification signals. That's not Velcuri, he said, nor human. Her fingers tightened on the controls. Unknown vessel is attempting intercept. Could be scavengers. Unlikely. Their vector is deliberate. They want the probe. The turbulence intensified as Lyren pushed the craft into a sharper trajectory. Do we have weapons? Elias asked. Minimal, she said. This vessel is built for scouting, not combat. Great, he muttered. So we can't outrun them and we can't shoot them. We can outmaneuver them, she corrected, shifting the thrusters with stunning finesse. But only if you synchronize with me completely. Elias blinked. Synchronize how? We share the interface. He stared. That requires biometric alignment. Yes, that's usually only done between bonded Velcuri pairs. Yes. And we're not. No, we are not. She didn't flinch, didn't blush, didn't break. Velcuri directness was a weapon in itself. But, she continued, our tactical compatibility is sufficient to attempt partial alignment. It will require you to lower your internal resistance. My what? Your emotional shielding. Elias swallowed. Are you saying you want me to open my mind to you? Temporarily, she said. If you resist, the system will destabilize. You must trust me. He hesitated. Lyren, is this safe? For me, yes, she said. For you, it depends on your willingness to cooperate. That is not comforting. It is the truth. The enemy vessel closed in. No time left. Elias pressed his palm to the shared interface plate beside hers. The panel pulsed. The craft vibrated. A soft, low-frequency hum filled the cockpit. Lyren's voice dropped to something calm, steady, almost soothing. Breathe. Follow my focus. Do not fight the connection. Elias inhaled. The interface lit. His pulse synced to the craft. Then to her. Her presence flickered across the neural network like cool electric light. Structured, sharp-minded, disciplined, impossibly clear. For an instant he sensed her awareness brushing his, assessing, adjusting, accepting. It wasn't intimate. It wasn't romantic. It was tactical understanding in its purest form. Then, now, she said, Their minds aligned with the craft for a fraction of a second, and Lyren executed a maneuver so sudden and violent it knocked the enemy vessel off course. Elias gasped as the interface disengaged, heart hammering. The probe drifted just ahead of them, an obsidian sphere the size of a human escape pod, its surface rippling with unstable light. Valkyrie technology never remained entirely still. It pulsed, breathed, reacted. This close to the dwarf star, the patterns flickered like heat haze. Lyren adjusted their velocity with delicate precision, bringing the scout craft into parallel position. Activating magnetic tether. Elias monitored the external scans. Unidentified vessel is looping behind the gas ridge. They're repositioning. Expected, she replied. Their previous maneuver demonstrated competence but not strategy. That's comforting. It should be. Strategically incompetent opponents are the most dangerous. That is significantly less comforting. Her ears angled in faint amusement. Secure the probe. Elias deployed the tether. It locked with a metallic click, drawing the probe into the rear docking slot of their craft. Probe secured, he confirmed, but our friends are coming back fast. Lyren didn't look up. Then we leave. She angled the thrusters and pushed the throttle forward, but the craft shuddered violently. Interference detected, she said sharply. Ionized debris is destabilizing the path. I'm reading wavefront compression, Elias added. The gas storms are collapsing around our exit vector. Which meant only one thing. They're hurting us, Elias said. Lyren's expression hardened. These pilots understand Valkyrie navigation patterns. Meaning they have studied us. The unknown vessel emerged from the storm like a predatory shad. Black, angular, nothing like Valkyrie curvature or human symmetry. It aligned itself directly behind them. They're charging a grappler, Elias warned. If they anchor us, we're stuck. Lyren didn't hesitate. Prepare the interface. Elias tensed, again. Yes, he placed his palm on the synchronization plate. Lyren did the same. The cockpit lights dimmed slightly as the craft attempted to blend two very different neural signatures into one coherent tactical stream. Elias braced himself, this time with intention rather than panic. The alignment hit like immersion into cold water. Startling, clarifying, immediate. Lyren's mind cut through the haze of turbulence, focused, structured, reading spatial data with impossible clarity. Elias felt her awareness shift, guiding him to patterns he wouldn't have noticed on his own. He exhaled. This time it wasn't overwhelming, it was efficient. Follow my directive, she said through the connection. Tell me where. 40 degrees starboard. He adjusted the secondary thrusters. Their combined neural signals translated into fluid movement. No hesitation, no conflict. A perfect blend of human adaptability and Valkyrie precision. Enemy vessel accelerating, Elias reported. They expect us to flee. We're not. No, a sharp pulse of intent crossed the interface. We are going through the collapsing ridge. Elias blinked. Through the Lyren, that's suicide. Not if timed perfectly. Defined perfectly. We must slip through the wavefront compression within a 0.7-second window. That's impossible. Not with you assisting. So now you trust me with life-or-death calculations. Her answer came without hesitation. Yes. The ridge ahead churned like a living storm, gas folding onto itself in luminous spirals. Elias watched the readings spike. Window opening in 3 seconds, she said. Hold course. He tightened his grip on the stability bar. Lyren, if the timing is off. It will not be. Her certainty hit him through the interface like a solid force. He swallowed. Then I'm with you. The cockpit vibrated violently as they approached the ridge. Wavefront alarms blared. Turbulence hammered them from all angles. Lyren's mind sharpened. Elias followed. 2 seconds, she said. 1. Now. The craft shot forward like a blade slicing through water. The compression wave collapsed just behind them, exploding into a blinding surge of light that would have crushed the hull if they'd been a heartbeat slower. Elias felt the shockwave rumble through the craft, but they were already through, out of the ridge, back into relatively stable gas fields. The enemy vessel wasn't so fortunate. The wavefront slammed into it with force. Its silhouette spun, destabilized, dropping into a spiral it couldn't immediately correct. They're still operational, Elias said, reading the damage profiles, but disoriented. It is enough, Lyren replied, disengaging the interface. The hum faded. Her breath came slightly faster, a rare sign of strain. We returned to Meridian 6. Elias leaned back, heart pounding. You knew that would work. Yes. You say that with alarming confidence. I say it with accuracy. Her ears angled in his direction. You adapt quickly and efficiently. Elias tried not to react to the praise. Valkyrie compliments were rare, especially from a captain known for precision. They set course back to the station. As the turbulence eased, Elias ran a diagnostic on the probe. The data streams flickered irregularly. Lyren, he said slowly, there's something wrong with this probe. Her ears sharpened. Define wrong. It's encrypted, but not with standard Valkyrie protocols. She frowned. Impossible, our probes use. I know, he said, which means someone tampered with it before we arrived. Lyren turned fully toward him. You are certain? Positive. She exhaled, deep, controlled, troubled. Then the unknown vessel was not merely scavenging. They knew the probe contained altered data. Elias' voice dropped, meaning someone wanted us to retrieve it. Or wanted to intercept it after we did, she added. The realization settled over them like a shadow. This wasn't an accident, it wasn't a random ambush, it was strategy. Meridian 6's docking bay greeted them with its usual metallic echo, but something in the air felt different, tight, expectant. Human technicians rushed toward the scout craft, while Valkyrie security officers took sharp positions along the perimeter. Two command teams mobilizing at the same time was never a good sign. Elias felt a familiar sinking sensation. Great. Not even a minute back and we're already being interrogated. Lyren didn't seem bothered. She glanced at him only long enough to say, maintain protocol. I always maintain protocol. No, she said flatly, not always, especially not when factors interfere. Factors are being exaggerated, he muttered. Her ears shifted in a skeptical angle, Valkyrie for unconvinced. The cockpit opened. Commanding Officer Rithvar approached with heavy, authoritative steps, his dark armor gleaming. Beside him, Commander Hale from the human military looked like he had already lost the remaining patience he possessed. Rithvar addressed Lyren first. Captain Vashar, report. Mission accomplished, she said. However, complications arose. An unknown vessel intercepted us, and the probe's internal data does not match standard Valkyrie protocols. Rithvar's ears snapped back, Valkyrie anger. Hale turned to Elias. Unknown vessel, identity. No signals. No markings, Elias answered. But they knew your maneuver patterns well enough to track us. That requires training, observation, maybe more. Hale shot a suspicious glance at Lyren. Is that accurate? Correct, she said. Their precision suggests familiarity with Valkyrie tactical theory. The two command officers exchanged a look that said, without words, this is bad. Rithvar cut in sharply. The probe will be isolated immediately. Absolutely no network integration. Hale added, both of you, Interrogation Chamber 1, now. Elias sighed internally. Fantastic. I just wanted coffee. The hybrid interrogation room was neither fully human nor fully Valkyrie. Smooth organic curves fused with hard human steel, the walls hummed faintly with mixed sensor arrays. Lyren stood perfectly straight on one side. Elias stood opposite her. The door locked. Hale spoke first. Thorne, explain this. Biometric synchronization listed in the flight report. Elias glanced sideways at Lyren. She did not look away. It was a neural interface alignment, Elias said. Short-term, tactical necessity. Hale stared. Isn't that the Valkyrie bond technique? The one reserved for? Yes, Elias said. Normally reserved for long-term paired Valkyrie operators. Hale dragged a hand across his face. Wonderful, a political nightmare. A human commander and a Valkyrie captain performing near-bond maneuvers. Diplomacy is going to love this. Lyren finally spoke. I initiated it. Rithvar rounded on her. That authority was not granted. Lyren held his gaze without flinching. Situational necessity. Commander Thorne's adaptive neural pattern was compatible. Failure to align would have had fatal outcome potential. Hale turned to Elias. Is that true? Yes, Elias said. We wouldn't have made it out. Hale exhaled. Fine, at least you didn't kill each other. Lyren's expression didn't move, but Elias noticed the faintest forward shift of her ears, Valkyrie for acknowledged satisfaction. Rithvar slammed a hand on the table. Now explain the altered probe. How was our technology compromised? Elias brought up his datapad. Based on my initial scan, the encryption isn't Valkyrie. It's something embedded inside your framework, like a parasite. The algorithm is growing, reacting. Lyren stepped closer. Growing algorithms do not grow. This one does, Elias said, and it behaves like supervised evolution. Patterns expand and retract like a heartbeat. Rithvar growled, then eradicate it. We can't, Elias said. It's not hostile, it's searching. Rithvar frowned, searching for what? Lyren answered before Elias could. For something like itself. The room went dead silent. Elias continued. The unknown vessel wasn't after the probe. They were after whatever modified it. Someone wanted us to retrieve it. Hale stiffened. You're saying the mission was manipulated. Strong possibility, Elias said. Before another word could be spoken, Lyren's ears snapped upward in a sharp, alarming angle. Danger, but not in the room. Outside, she whispered. Hale moved toward the console. Explain. Lyren closed her eyes, listening with senses more precise than any sensor net. There is a ship approaching Meridian 6, she said. Silent mode, no identification. Elia's stomach tightened. The same attackers. Her head tilted slightly. No, this signature is different. Alarms erupted across the station. Red lights flashed. The floor trembled. Hale spun toward Elias. Status report. Elias checked the feed. His blood ran cold. This isn't a weapon strike, he said. It's interference, energy flux penetrating our systems. Lyren's voice dropped, and the probe's algorithm is responding. Everyone turned to the display. The code once contained now pulsed in sync with the interference. Alive, awake. Someone, Elias said slowly, is listening. Lyren's eyes widened a fraction, Valkyrie shock. This algorithm, she murmured, it is not simply reacting. It is communicating. Rithvar roared, communication with what? Elias whispered the only answer that made sense. With whatever created it. As the lights flickered again, the probe projected a new symbol. Larger, more complex, unmistakably intentional. Lyren stepped close. When the lights of Meridian 6 flickered back on, the first thing Elias noticed wasn't the brightness. It was the silence, total, absolute. The ever-present background hum of the station, ventilation, generators, circulators, the low mechanical heartbeat of an artificial habitat, was gone. The air felt hollow, as if the entire structure were holding its breath. Lyren stood perfectly still, her ears angled forward in a position Elias had never seen before. Not fear, not confusion, but analysis under imminent threat. This is not a normal systems outage, she said quietly. Elias moved to the nearest console. Power flow is stable, but the sensors are. He didn't finish. The display snapped into static, then reassembled into a sequence of symbols, foreign, looping, expanding, and contracting like a pulse. His breath hitched. That's the probe's algorithm. It's projecting into the station network. Rithvar stepped forward sharply. Impossible, the probe is isolated. It shouldn't be possible, Elias said, and yet it's happening. The deck beneath them shuddered again, not violently, rhythmically, like breathing. Lyren approached the screen, her expression tightening. The pattern matches the probe's internal pulse. Whatever is happening, the algorithm is synchronizing with our systems. Hale swallowed. And what does that mean exactly? Elias zoomed in on the repeating symbols. It's not corruption, it's communication. The algorithm is trying to reach something. Rithvar slammed his hand onto the table. We do not respond to hostile entities, no contact, no signals. Lyren didn't turn to face him. Her eyes remained on the pattern. What if ignoring it is perceived as hostility? She said. Some species interpret silence as aggression. This is not a species, Rithvar growled. It is a threat. Elias hesitated. I think you're both wrong. Lyren finally looked at him. Explain. He pointed at the widening glyphs. The algorithm isn't targeting us. It's using us as a conduit. It's reaching outward, not inward. Hale frowned. Outward to what? Before Elias could answer, the probe behind them emitted a soft, resonant tone, low, metallic, and disturbingly organic. Lyren stepped toward it and placed her fingertips lightly on the surface. Valkyrie sensory filaments activated instantly, glowing pale blue along her skin. Be careful, Elias warned. This is a surface scan only, she replied. The probe reacted. Light rippled across its shell. Lyren froze. Her ears tilted in a slow, controlled motion that Elias had never seen. In Valkyrie body language, it was the equivalent of sudden realization, mixed with disbelief. This pattern, she whispered, it resembles Valkyrie protocode. Rithvar stiffened. Protocode, that technology has been extinct for millennia. Not extinct, Lyren murmured. Forgotten or replaced, but this, she drew her hand back slowly. This is older than our recorded history, and far more advanced. Elias felt a chill climb his spine. Then whoever created this algorithm isn't just ahead of Valkyrie technology, they predate it. Hale cursed under his breath. Ancient alien code, of course, why not? Before anyone could form a plan, the station lights dimmed again, then flared as every terminal displayed the same symbol the probe had shown, now fully formed, bright, demanding. Lyren's voice dropped to a whisper. This is not a message. Elias stared at the symbol as it expanded into a 6-layer fractal. It's a summons. Hale looked like he wanted to tear the console out of the wall. A summons for WHO. The floor vibrated, deep and resonant, not mechanical. Not natural, a harmonic tone filled the air as if the station itself were resonating. Lyren's ears flattened in alarm. The signal is no longer leaving the station. Something outside is responding. Elias' heart pounded. Responding how? Rithvar tapped into the external cameras. Static, then more static, then. A shadow, a shape, something enormous eclipsing the dwarf star's light. Not a ship, not anything built, something grown. Something layered in fractal geometry, matching the algorithm's pulse. Lyren inhaled sharply. That structure, it is not Valkyrie, not human. I have never seen anything like it. Elias whispered, it came because we activated the probe. Hale took a step back. Tell me we can defend against that. Lyren did not look away from the viewport. We cannot. The shadow moved closer, slow, deliberate, intelligent. The station trembled a third time, a long, low vibration that traveled through metal, circuitry, bone. Lyren turned to Elias, voice steady but low. This is no longer a retrieval mission. This is first contact with something older than either of our civilizations. Elias swallowed, and we triggered it. No, she said, meeting his eyes. It has been waiting. Rithvar's voice cracked through the room. Raise shields, signal all wings. Prepare for evacuation. But Lyren didn't move, her ears angled sharply forward. They are trying to communicate. Elias stared at the shifting symbol on the screen. With us, he asked. No, she replied. Her gaze shifted upward toward the massive shape eclipsing the star. With whatever we...
Sorry about that.
Oh, you're good.
All right, appreciate it, man. Thank you. A huevo. Beast Boy se puede transformar, güey. Beast Boy se puede transformar. Cuenta, cuenta. Esa madre cuenta, me vale verga.
Corre, corre.
Me vale verga, güey. Me vale verga. Esa madre cuenta, güey.
Con razón le decían así al chico bestia. Acá en el Beast Boy trae escuadra.
Tú no viste nada, güey. Tú no viste nada.
Y es un tipo ogro, ¿no?
¿Y eres un tipo ogro, no? Ah, porque estoy feo, Simón. Ay, había una Eevee, güey.
Mames, si nos picó el ojo.
Se supone que hay cosas para que se tape cuando son un cosplay, ¿no? Se supone.
En eso está Bartolomé. Se puede poner uno de los que se ponen los luchadores.
¿Cómo? Sí, creo que sí, sí. Pero no sé qué te dan cuando completas el tier 1, ¿eh? La pila, güey, la pila, cabrón. Hay que... Sí, es el chico bestia. Hey, what's up, man? Pretty good. There's this one right here. And there's the picture.
Por ejemplo, favor de no acosar a las estrellas.
Okay. Right. Perfect, thank you, man. Siguiente misión. A la verga, güey. Tómate un video de tú y alguien más tomándose una cerveza, güey. O sea, un shot, güey. la verga, güey. Para subir al siguiente tier son 5 misiones. Cada 5 misiones subes a un tier. Se pasaron de verga, güey.
Madres XD.
Vete, ¿y dónde va a sacar un cabrón?
Es complicado.
Es el pedo, ¿dónde va a sacar un cabrón para tomarnos una cerveza, güey? Esto va para Instagram.
Ve al puesto de cerveza que dijiste que irías. Ve con los de root beer.
No, tiene que ser una cerveza.
O ya salió el trapo, vas a tener que comprar 2 cervezas.
Sí, güey. Vale, a ver, deja tú, tenemos que buscar a alguien para tomarnos una cerveza, güey. What's up, man? Do you want to do me a favor? Do you want to chug a beer right now for a quest? I need to do a quest. You want to go get a beer and chug it? You don't want to get... You want to go for a... I got you. I bought you 1 beer. Just for the quest. You want to help me out?
We're doing it? You're gonna hold my beer?
No, I got you. I can buy it. Let's go, yeah. Just for the quest, man.
I'll go chug a beer with you.
Sorry about that, man.
Feel like I'm in a maid outfit, that means I got
Let's go, yeah.
I'm always down to help people out.
It's looking like the mission going on right now.
Lucky guy.
Where are the beers at? Over there, I think. Yeah, I think the beers are right there, right? Let's go. Or whatever you want. What you want to drink? All right, let's go then. Never tried it out before.
Try one of the random lemonade drinks.
Okay, let's go. As long as a beer, I'm good.
They make you buy somebody else's beer?
That's what the quest tells. Right there's the quest. So there. All right, let's go. It's right here, right?
Yeah.
Good enough. Dijo la verga. Are you going to do it or not?
Yeah, I'll do it.
No, the quest. You're going to do the quest or not?
Probably not.
Oh, man, it's pretty fun.
I bet.
It's like taking pictures with people and all kind of stuff.
My daughter just turned 18 and she's got a bunch of stuff planned for me already.
Damn. Oh, got you.
So, I gotta figure that out before I go to Quest.
All right.
Tomorrow I'll do Quest.
Hey, tomorrow. There we go. Yeah.
The Crow. That's awesome.
No, que su hija está aquí, güey.
The Crow.
A huevo, güey, a huevo. El vato dijo, Simón, chingue su
Solo
madre.
bromeo, jajaja.
El vato dijo, chingue su madre, me vale verga.
El bro ya está medio pericles.
Sí, ya está medio pedillo ya. Y la señora se me quedó viendo, no mames. Chingue su madre, chingue su madre.
Oh, boy. Grab my nipples anyway.
Sí, pero el vato está bien pedo ya, güey.